So EASYLONGER has sent me a sample of their newest ES960 CPAP backup battery, and tell you the truth, the old one was great, other than it didn't do pass-through charging, and the state of charge meter was just a little bit out of calibration. It showed 25% when you were well below 25%. You know, and they say they have fixed all those problems, and those are things that we're going to test in this video. I gotta tell you, this battery has been great. Like, I use this daily, honestly, because, you know, this is a lithium iron phosphate battery, and they're good for thousands of charges. And sometimes, you know, your wall plug is an inconvenient place to charge your phone. I use this for phone charging on the daily. You know, drag it to the bedroom, put it on the nightstand, charge my phone with it, because it's a really solid battery. For a year, I have used this battery pretty much every day, and it's still just as good as the day it came. And this one is supposed to be better. So let's talk about the packaging for just 1 second. So EASYLONGER, I never understood the name. They made it very clear what EASYLONGER means. Easy charging, longer power, EASYLONGER. I appreciate that clarification on the name, because the name felt kind of silly previously. But then also a big difference is this little symbol, not airline approved. So you know, neither of these batteries are something that you can take on a plane to run your CPAP on an overnight flight or something. You know, that's what that means. I can tell you right now, after a year of use, this battery has never felt warm to the touch, unless I left it in the sun on a camp out. You know, it hasn't burned my house down using it daily to charge devices in between the uses. These little words right here, which are on both boxes, 3,000 cycles. What that means is that they are claiming that these batteries get 3,000 charge cycles before the capacity of the battery has diminished to 80% full capacity. That's what lithium iron phosphate batteries are known for. So I believe it. You know, maybe they're exaggerating. Maybe it only gets 2,000, but even 2,000 charges, that's a ton of charge cycles. I mean, and so far, based off the performance of the old battery, I believe it's going to do it. There's a few differences externally that I can talk about. One of the differences is the size of the charger. So the old battery came with just a regular wall wart, you know, that was rated for 20 volts. This output 20 volts at 2 amps. That means you know, Ohm's law, volts times amps equals watts. This put out 40 watts. Whereas the new charger, which is, you know, significantly larger, it is rated for 20 volts at 3.6 amps, which means 72 watts. So they've nearly doubled the size of the charge capacity going into these batteries. And as far as exterior changes goes, the last exterior change that I can see with my eyes without testing, besides the color and the size of the charger, is the bag, the protective neoprene bag that the battery comes in. So this is the one for the original green model. You know, it has no pass through for the handle. If you want to use the ports, you open it up and you plug in. You know, it's functional, but it's not nearly as functional as the new battery, which has an opening for the handles on these devices, and then also it has to get to the power ports. You unzip it and you can open it up to access the power ports, and then it has a storage bag where you can put, you know, whatever cable it is for your specific CPAP that you use. Because these support a broad array of CPAP cables and voltages, so you can back up nearly all of the CPAPs that are common on the market. All right, before we move on, I want to really sink it in deep what it means, like the capacity of these batteries. Both of them are rated for, I don't even know if we will be able to see it here, but I'm just going to say it, 297.6 watt hours. So watt hours is a useful comparison because different batteries, different batteries types have different voltages, but the amount of amps you draw at a certain voltage determines how many watts you do. It's Ohm's law. Volts times amps equals watts. And you know, watts are measured in, and you draw so much current for an hour, you get a watt hour. And so with these having the 297.6 watt hours, that is the total amount of watts per hour you can draw out of this battery. So a very simple test is I have a power supply here set to 12 volts, and you know, it's currently reading 0 amps because we're not doing anything. Once I plug it in to my CPAP, we see that we went up to, you know, 0.155 amps. That's just sitting at idle. So if we go 12 times 0.155, just having the CPAP plugged in takes, you know, 1.86, almost 2 watts per hour, just to sit at idle. Now if we turn it on in the full configuration with heat and humidity, you know, we have heated hoses, right? We have a heated reservoir of water to make the humidity, and I'm just gonna block the nose plugs with my finger. We're gonna turn it on. Look, if you let the air out, it'll draw more. Plug it in like you're breathing back and forth. So now we're doing about 5 amps, pretty consistently about 5 amps. And so if we do the math on that 5 amps, we go clear. We do 12 volts times 5 amps equals 60 watts. And so running it like this takes 60 watt hours. So then let's say we take 297.6 watt hours divided by 60. That means we get just under 5 hours of use. So these batteries cannot run this device with heat and humidity all night long. It just doesn't work. You know, these batteries, these are meant to be highly portable, taken camping, CPAP only, not heat and humidity, CPAP only. You know, you really gotta, like, when you're sizing the battery you want to buy, just take that into consideration. These, you know, fairly hefty batteries are not going to get you all night for a single night. But what happens when you do just CPAP only? So this is a Dreamstation 1. They were recalled, and I put a different air chamber in here with no foam, and so I feel like this is a better than any other thing you could do with the recall device, because there's no foam in here. So you take this off, you lose the heat chamber, and you lose the ports to heat the hose. And you plug it in, you know, there's no ports for the hose to get power. Now you have just CPAP alone device. So let's plug those nasal ports again, turn it on, and let's see the amount of power that it uses. So we're down here at like 0.4 amps. If I open it up, it'll get close, you know, almost 1 amp. But let's say you're breathing through it, you're maintaining constant pressure, about 0.4, let's say it peaks at 0.42. We'll use that number, all right? So let's do our math again. We got 12 volts times 0.42 amps means that we're using 5 watt hours. What do you think that does? I mean, it's like it's a significant difference in the amount of time you can use CPAP without heat and humidity. So let's use number 5. 12 times 0.5. We're using 6 watts. So we go 297.6 watt hours divided by 6 watts. Now you get 49.6 hours of CPAP backup on your battery. And let's just divide that by 8. See how many nights that is. That's 6 nights. That's 6 8-hour nights. I mean, that is a tremendous amount of CPAP backup on such a small format battery. I guess I should grab the new one since that's what we're testing. So I hope that makes clear that a battery of this size is not meant for heat and humidity. It is only meant for CPAP backup. You got to turn through the settings, turn off your heat and humidity, and then you have, I never sleep 8 hours, so I'd have more than a week. But you'd have 6 days at 8 hours, more than a week if you sleep like I do. It's a highly useful thing to have around. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and charge both of these up. I thought it would indicate the voltage. Oh, this was discharged. Oh my goodness. All right, I gotta admit, I was kind of shocked that this had discharged, because all I have done with this battery is I had charged it up to full. I plugged a USB-C to a Lightning iPhone charger into it, and I charged my phone one night, and then I set it aside for a few weeks. And I left the charger, the cable plugged into this, not charging anything, and it went completely flat. So when something is plugged into it that draws any load, it stays on like forever, because it knows when you plug a iPhone charger into the USB-C. There's some circuitry inside of it which activates it. Without being plugged into the phone, it'll turn these on, and the state of charge indicator comes on. It's that when these electronics turn on and detect any amount of draw, they're going to stay on, even if it's like the tiniest little milliamp draw. That when you store this and you want to store it charged, you need to unplug everything from it. So just a side note, these chargers, both of them, even the one for this, they get very, very hot, like real freaking hot. So what I have here, Klein multimeter. It has the function of testing temperatures through a thermistor, which is it changes its resistance based off temperature, and then it can translate it into temperature. So my ambient outdoor temperature is like around 82 or so. So what we're going to do, we're going to see how hot these get. So I'm going to put a little tape on the thermistor. I'm going to tape it. So we're pretty stable around 129 degrees. It's hot enough to feel like it could burn you, but it doesn't burn you. So the older one's even warmer, 133. So they have managed to bring the temperatures down and deliver a greater state of charge. I imagine that these temperatures will vary. Like, let's say you have a fully charged battery, and instead of charging the battery at full capacity of the charger, you are just using the amount of energy that the CPAP needs, and I imagine the temperature of this will come down as you use this CPAP on a fully charged battery. All right, so the first test I'm going to run is just simple pass-through test. We have the charger plugged into the battery, and then we have the CPAP plugged in, where it'll run off the battery or the charger, I guess. Let's see if that lasts. Heat and humidity's on, so let's see if that lasts all night. Yeah, it lasted all night. All right, so the battery functioned perfectly for pass-through charging last night. I'm going to mix it up for a second test tonight. I'm going to not use my cigarette lighter port. I'm going to use the built-in one. So this one, all of the cords that go to all of your different CPAPs that you have, they come labeled and they tell you what to use. So the Dreamstation 1 and 2, and I guess that's, yeah, whatever. It says it uses 12 volts on it, and the other ones will tell you if they're 24 volts or whatever. So I'm going to plug into here. I'm going to hit the voltage button. I say that. This one? Voltage 12. So we're blinking 12. You see that? And you can adjust the voltage by holding the button. Oh no, it just turns it off. 12, 16 and a half, 20, 24, and 12. So I need 12 volts. So we'll plug in here. And we're gonna be good to go. So I'm charging this one up again because I was curious about why these batteries were discharging when I just left the phone charger in it, and it turns out it's just an iPhone Lightning, charger cord, which is a problem. It has some electronics in it that use some power, and it keeps the electronics on the battery on. And apparently, electronics have a fairly high, power consumption because it doesn't take that many days of leaving an iPhone charger plugged into one of these to drastically reduce the battery. So I tested it both ways with the USB-C. No problem. These things will turn off after you plug a USB-C in, but the Apple Lightning cord keeps the electronics on, and we'll just run them down to 0. And as I said, we use these to charge phones and stuff all the time. So I ran this one dead, so I just wanted to put a little bit of charge in it so my kid can keep her phone topped off tonight. So anyways, let's plug this into the charger, and we're good to go for tonight. And we'll see if if the electronics stay on all night and keep this running through its 12 volt power supply there. I gotta say that this charger that the new one came with, like when you charge in a battery from dead, it gets quite hot. But last night, running the CPAP, pass through on this, it was you could tell it was warmer than ambient, but it doesn't get crazy hot. So it's looking promising that we can use these as like what is it called? Uninterruptible power supply or whatever. But let's do some more tests. Alright, so for tonight's test, I'm going to simulate what actually happens here in Texas during that terrible snowpocalypse we had. We had rolling blackouts. It was an hour with electricity, hour without electricity, just going on and off. So I have a timer here, and it's set, every other hour is on and off, and it's just spinning away doing its thing. And I've gone back to the official charge cord that plugs into the cigarette lighter. I prefer this one. I don't know why, but I like using this one. And so right now we're just sucking power off of the battery. It doesn't even have to turn the electronics on when you use this. They should come back on when the charger moves. So I'm gonna, just to prove a point, let's spin this till we get to next time. And that should turn the block on. Yeah, the block is on. And now it shows the state of charge here. And so that'll just, let's go all night. We'll see how that works. All right, for this last test, it's going to be the same hour on, hour off, simulating rolling blackouts. But we're just going to go through the electronics of the CPAP here, of the battery. I mean, electronics of the battery. So you do have to turn it on every time. 12 volts. That do it? Nope, nope, I'm changing voltage. When it's blinking 12 volts, you just leave it. And eventually the blinking will stop. And then you power on. So I guess the reason why I like going through the little cigarette lighter 12 volt port is because the electronics goes to sleep every day. And it stays on for a very long time, like I'm not real sure, like 18 hours or something, but eventually it goes to sleep. So you have to turn the battery pack on each night. Whereas if you use like the official, camping charger, it just stays on because I don't know, lithium batteries, lithium ion, lithium iron phosphate, they have BMSs. BMSs, they'll stay on unless there's a problem with the battery, then it turns it off. So these 12 volt ports on the battery, they're directly to the BMS, whereas the electronics, it has its own program aside of the BMS where it'll go to sleep after a while. And it's just it's a little inconvenient pushing, holding the button, waiting 30 seconds. I don't know. At least I feel it's inconvenient. But it seems to work. So anyways, let's see. Let's see what it does tonight. And that will conclude our pass-through charging test for this new battery. So I used this on the rolling blackout experiment for a whole week, 7 days. And it was great. I mean, it functions just as you expect, like a what do they call it? A non-interruptible power supply would. And the charge cord for it really doesn't get that hot when you're just using it. It just gets hot when you're charging the battery because the battery can take so much capacity. When the battery's charging, it's drawing, what the maximum amount that the charge cord will allow to flow through it. So, in a day-to-day use in your house, it really is not warm. Anyways, this it passes with the flying colors with me. I like it. I thought the old battery was really useful, and now this one with the pass-through charging just brings it to the next level of usefulness. I'm thrilled to have this in my house. Add to my collection of these are the lithium iron phosphate ones, and then of course we have the lithium ion version as well. I can't tell you how many times this has saved me. This year I had no power for a day and a half, and I slept on with this battery 2 nights when a storm blew down the power poles. And could you imagine like what happened in Houston where they didn't have power for, I don't even know how long, was it like 15 days or more? I mean, you could charge this, if you have like the little AC adapter that plugs into your cigarette lighter, and then you plug the cord into that, and then that into this. You could charge this thing when you're out waiting in food lines or whatever those people were having to do in Houston. So, anyways, I like it. It's good. I think it's a strong contender. If you're interested in one, I'll have a link in the description below. All right, y'all be good. Wait, also, if you want to watch a super long video when I first got this one, where I went through all of its functionality, because these also have flashlights, but it's got wireless charging. Yeah, but I'll link the video to this one's very long, like hour-long review in the description box below. The description box below as well. So, anyways, y'all be good, and enjoy your CPAP therapy and get healthier.